And so, number one, the most biggest reason why injuries occur is improper form. We see this all the time in the gym. You guys have seen it. I have seen it. A lot of times you see those like those workout videos on social media. You're like, no way, people are really doing that. Yes, 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 they are. And I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. And so when somebody is first starting out, they're learning the ropes, they're trying to figure it out. Absolutely, that's I get it, but in what I'm not one usually to go up and give somebody advice unless they ask me to. Unless it's like somebody looks like they're going to hurt themselves. Like seriously, I'm like, and I'll just politely go up and say, "Hey, great job." Give them some positive reinforcement. Can I show you a little variation of this and then try to show them in proper form? But improper form is the number one reason I think that injuries occur. And there's some exercises, some body parts, some things that are more susceptible than others. But certainly, I think that's the number one. Number two is not warming up enough. Okay, this might surprise some. There's another factor I'm going to talk about next, but I put not warming up enough as number two because a lot of times what I'll see in the gym is that somebody will, they'll get ready to start training. They'll just they'll change their clothes, whatever, put their stuff in the locker room. They'll get their water ready to go, and they just get to it. They just start lifting, and that is a big red flag because that is probably the biggest thing that is a preventable reason I'm going to talk about later. But yeah, not warming up enough, and or not warming up at all. And I'm going to talk through what a good proper warm up sequence is. So then that way you know what that is. And let me give you a spoiler: it's not just jumping on a treadmill or whatever for 5 minutes, getting the heart rate up. All right, so number two, the most common reason is not warming up enough. Number three, and a lot of times I think this is what people think of first, but I've got it third on the list, and that is too much weight, too heavy a load on that exercise, whether it's a barbell, dumbbell, machine, cable, doesn't matter. But if somebody's got more weight than they should, then the risk of injury goes up significantly. And that is usually tied very closely to the number one, which is improper form. Usually somebody will, not usually, but sometimes somebody will be able to do proper form with an appropriate load on the bar, but then when it gets too heavy, form goes to crap and they get hurt. So again, too much weight. And notice, like I said, if somebody warms up enough, they can handle more weight. And so that's why I put too much weight as number three versus number two, because if they warm up enough, they might be able to handle that weight. So that's why too much weight is number three. And it's very relative to an individual. I've seen somebody can be extremely strong in an exercise. This is kind of a pet peeve of mine. Somebody says, "Oh, dude, you're gonna get hurt." No. Now, if that individual did that weight, maybe they would get hurt, yes. But if you're strong enough to handle that load, that weight with appropriate form, then your risk of injury goes down significantly. You're just strong in that exercise. There's a big difference between lifting more than you should be and lifting a lot. Just because you're lifting a large amount of weight doesn't mean your risk of injury goes up. Now, I will say, your the margin of error goes very small. Like if you get a little out of form, if you mistime something, yeah, your injury could happen more quickly because you're using heavy weight. But again, your body is strong enough to handle that load. It doesn't mean that a heavy load is going to cause injury. It's all relation to the person. I hope that makes sense. I wanted to make sure I point that out because that's like I said, a pet peeve of mine. Okay, so that was number three, too much weight. And number four, not recovering enough. Okay. I think that's another reason why people get injured. They're not recovering enough.